Hi, this is Antoinette Love Ransom, your CBS Hollywood correspondent. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm going to interview the talented Charles Mattocks, the nephew of the late Bob Marley. I'm super excited to hear about his docu-series called 8 Days. It'll be airing on A&E FYI channel January 4th, 2020. And this interview is brought to you by our sponsor, Mars Parachutes, the global leader of drone safety system. I have the talented Charles Mattocks sitting here. He's going to open about his new docu-series coming out January 4th, 2020. So Charles, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, you know what? You are the man. Let's talk about, before your docu-series, let's talk about your family. I'm a super Bob Marley fan. Tell me about what it was like growing up in the Marley family.
You know, when you're growing up in a family like that, you don't really think of it as the Marley family. You know, you're just, he's just an uncle and my cousins are just cousins, you know. Right. I think, and it was actually interesting because my mother had migrated to America. So she was doing her thing, and that's, my mother's his only sister. So my first introduction to him was actually, he had a major concert, and I didn't even know I had a famous uncle. And
how old were you?
Man, I was probably about 6. So I remember, he was gonna have the concert, and I ended up going to the concert and stuff like that. And this was around the time he was just, I think right before he got sick with cancer. So that was my first introduction to even knowing, because my mother she didn't really talk about, her brother being this, that, and the other thing. Because, especially coming from Jamaica, let's face it, coming out of the ghetto, you don't think that this person who is a family member is going to end up being the king of reggae. So for her, he was probably just a dreamer, and, his little music, would have never probably have taken off the way it was. So for me, it was fun, but it wasn't anything that I looked at and thought. It wasn't until later that I actually started to digest, who and what he was. Because I went to the funeral and everything. Right. The funeral was major. You're talking about the whole of Jamaica. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was fun. All these people, you're riding in the limo, there's thousands of people lining the street. I didn't think of it as, a legend had passed. I looked at it as, my uncle had passed.
Right.
Yeah.
Just talented. And then when did you get into producing?
I got into producing when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
And yeah, I wanted to make some kind of series for my idea. I was going to do something for PBS, and I was just going to chronicle my story. And that kind of led to really just going deeper and looking into the whole healthcare system, looking into, why people suffer from diabetes, looking into the food system that we deal with, economic, everything, just understanding the big pharmaceutical companies. And that kind of led from one thing into the next thing. And everything lined up really, really right in a short period of time. It's an amazing series. I mean, it's beautifully shot. Mm-hmm. It's beautifully done. The stories are unbelievable.
How did you choose the people for 8 days? How did you choose them?
Well, number one, I found this great company called Hope for Cancer. They do alternative,
yes, okay.
They do alternative treatment. And of course, they had some patients who were there. So I wanted to tell some of their stories, right? Because if they had gone through the treatment and done well, or were going through the treatment.
What can people expect when they watch this?
What I wanted to do is that there are a lot of people dealing with conditions. Like I was sharing with, one of your people, I was saying, if you took, let's say, a father or 5, mothers and fathers who were dealing with a child with cancer, to share those stories and understand what the child is going through, understand what the mother and the father are going through, understand, collectively how they're dealing financially, how they're dealing spiritually, how they're dealing emotionally. Is there drama in the family because it could be tearing the family apart? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to kind of tell those stories, bring 5 people together who are going through something, and kind of let you in on their lives just for a little bit, and bring in people who could inspire them, bring in people who could educate them, bring in people who could educate the public. Because remember, what you see there, people can take from that, whether it's eating right, whether it's getting their mind right, whether it's exercising, whether it's diet, whatever it may be. So that's really what the focus is about, sharing those stories, and of course we have some healing going on too as well, through the alternative medicine.
I'm super excited to share this with everybody at CBS, everybody at home who's going to watch this. This is amazing. So you can check out Charles Mattocks. I want you to tell everyone when they can view your new docuseries coming out.
January 4th at 9 a.m. on the FYI network, which is part of A&E, but January 4th at 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
Thank you so much, Charles, for your time. I appreciate it.